بینندگان گرامی تلویزیون ایران تیوی، با 16مین برنامه تلویزیونی بیوا در 14 جون 2003 به پایان دوره اول برنامه‌هایمان رسیدیم. عده زیادی از شما احتمالاً موفق به دیدن این برنامه‌ها نشدند و نظر به درخواست پخش مجدد مجموعه برنامه‌های دوره اول بران شدیم که این 15 برنامه را برای شما بینندگان گرامی باز پخش نماییم.
خوش آمدید به 7مین برنامه بیوا. از آنجایی که شاید تعدادی از بینندگان ارجمند ایران تیوی تا به حال برنامه‌های بیوا را ندیده باشند، اجازه می‌خواهم که توضیح مختصری درباره خودمان به شما بدهم. من بابک امامیان، بنیانگذار British Iranian Business Association که به فارسی میشه انجمن مدیران ایرانی مقیم انگلستان، و به مختصر ما به خودمون بیوا میگیم. بیوا پس از 9 سال فعالیت دائم در انگلستان به خوبی شناخته شده است. علت تهیه این برنامه معرفی بیوا به دوستان عزیزمان در آمریکا است، با امید آنکه این باعث گسترش روابط اقتصادی بین ایرانیان مقیم انگلستان و ایرانیان مقیم آمریکا بشود. حال بپردازیم به برنامه امشب. ما در بیوا اعتقاد داریم که برای معرفی انگلستان صحیح نیست که فقط به انگلستان از زاویه کاخ باکینگهام پلس، گردشگاه هاید پارک، موزه مادام توسو یا ساعت بیگ بن فقط نگاه کنیم، بلکه به نظر ما از 3 زاویه اصلی هستش که باید به انگلستان نگاه کرد برای اینکه پی ببریم به ارزش، اهمیت، قدرت و شهرت انگلستان. این 3 زاویه را هفته پیش توضیح دادیم. به این صورت هستش. زاویه اول به نظر ما اینه که ما باید به انگلستان به چشم یک بانک فعال جهانی نگاه کنیم. و اگه شما ملاحظه کنید تمام کشورهای دنیا یا شرکت‌های بزرگ دنیا برای تهیه سرمایه یک طوری با بانک‌های انگلیسی یا استاک مارکت، بازار بورس انگلستان در تماس هستند. زاویه دوم، از نظر ما باید به انگلستان به چشم یک مؤسسه حقوقی فعال نگاه کرد. دوباره من تکرار میکنم، تمام شرکت‌های دنیا یا کشورهای دنیا برای اینکه قراردادهاشون رو ببندن یک طوری از دفاتر حقوقی انگلستان استفاده میکنن. چرا؟ چون قوانین حقوقی انگلستان بسیار دقیق و دائم هستند. سوم، انگلستان یک مرکز تکنولوژیه و همینطور که در برنامه‌های گذشته بیوا سعی کردیم این مسئله رو ما در میون بذاریم با شما و کسایی که در تکنولوژی، ایرانیان مقیم انگلستان که در تکنولوژی فعالیت میکنن به شما معرفی کنیم. هفته پیش ما سعی کردیم 2 تا از وکلای ایرانی که مقیم انگلستان هستن به شما معرفی کنیم. حالا این هفته ما 2 تا از مدیران ارشد بانکی در انگلستان را میخوایم به شما معرفی کنیم و این 2 نفر از دوستان خوب من هستن و هر دو از شخصیت‌های برجسته بیوا هستند. اولی آقای سیروس اردلان هستش که یکی از مدیران ارشد بانک بارکلیز کپیتال هستش و دومی مهدی شالفروشان هستش که یکی از مدیران ارشد بانک آف امریکا هست. حال اگه اجازه بدهید بپردازیم با گفتگویی که با این آقایان داشتیم. خیلی خوش آمدید. امشب این میشه 6مین میتینگ بیوا هستش روی تلویزیون و دومین برنامه گروهی ما و من خیلی خوشحال هستم که آقای مهدی شالفروشان که سینیور وایس پرزیدنت بانک آف امریکا و سیروس اردلان که وایس چرمن آف بارکلیز کپیتال هستش. خیلی خوشحالم که شما هستین 2 تا از تاپ بانکرها، کسایی که تو کار بانکینگ هستن اینجا و واقعا هم I'm so proud of them. اگه اجازه بدید من از مهدی میخوام که خودش رو معرفی کنه و بعداً سیروس. مهدی جان درباره خودت بگو.
من مهدی شالفروشان هستم، سینیور وایس پرزیدنت مال بانک آف امریکا در لندن و تقریبا حدود 25 سال هستش که در کار بانکینگ هستم و مسئولیت من کورپرات بانکینگ و ریلیشنشیپ منیجمنت این کورپرات بانکینگ هست.
یعنی چی کورپرات بانکینگ؟
یعنی فقط مسئول رابطه بانک با شرکت ها هستیم، شرکت های بزرگ معمولا.
و این بزرگ چه سایزی؟
شرکت‌هایی که ما کار میکنیم فروششون و یا مارکت کپشون از 1 میلیارد به بالاست.
1 میلیارد چی؟ پوند، دلار؟
فرق نمی‌کنه. 1 میلیارد دلار حداقل.
1 میلیارد.
1 میلیارد.
چه رقم بزرگی. و سیروش جان شما یه چیز درباره خودت بگو که
من بیشتر زندگیم در خارج از ایران بودم، بیش از 2 سال در خود ایران نبودم. تقریبا
چرا اینطور بوده؟
پدر مادرم بیشترش در خارج از ایران کار می‌کردن و مسافرت می‌کردن و با اونا بودم و بعدش هم اومدم در انگلستان و در انگلستان تحصیل کردم، دانشگاه اینجا رفتم، فوق لیسانس هم اینجا گرفتم و بعد از اون رفتم امریکا و شروع کردم کار کردن و اونجا موندم و تازگی الان 7-8 ساله که برگشتم به انگلیس. تقریبا 25-6 ساله که در
قبل از اینکه بگی تو بانک هستی چطور هم فارسی خوبه تو؟
فارسی متخصص و پدر مادرم همش با من فارسی حرف می‌زدن و واسه همین فارسی بد نیستش ولی همچنان خوبم نیستش.
خانمم که ایرانیه اونم
من خیلی کمک کرد. ناچار خیلی کمک کرد. ولی از لحاظ بانکی تقریبا 25 ساله که منم در کار بانکی میکنم که بیشترش رو در امریکا بودم ولی 7-8 سال اخیر در انگلیس بودم.
بعد شما الان وایس چرمن بارکلیز کپیتال، این بارکلیز کپیتال با بارکلیز بانک رابطه ای داره؟
بارکلیز کپیتال جزء بارکلیز بانک، بارکلیز کپیتال اینوستمنت بانک بارکلیز بانک که مسئول کارهایی است که کارهای بانکی است که بارکلیز بانک با مؤسسه‌های بزرگ، شرکت‌های بزرگ در طول دنیا کار میکنه.
وقتی مؤسسه‌های بزرگ سایز کمپانیایی که شما از بارکلیز کپیتال باشون کار کنید چقدره؟
مثل همچنان که مهدی گفت اندازه‌هاشون معمول میونه 700 میلیون تا 1 بیلیون دلار از مارکت کپ به بالاتر هستن و یا شرکت‌های بزرگ به معنا هستن یا ممکنه کارهایی است که با دولت‌های مختلف می‌کنیم یا مؤسسه‌های دولتی می‌کنیم.
پس یعنی کاری که شما می‌کنید 1 میلیاردیه تقریبا، کاری که شما می‌کنید 1 میلیاردیه. پس here we're dealing with billionaire boy club, yes? Am I right to say billionaire boy club? This is what billionaire boy club is about playing golf, playing power money. What is it about?
Well, I hope it's not the case. I think it's about bringing ideas to your relationship or your clients, and bringing good ideas, because in this market is a highly competitive market, and if you don't bring good ideas to them, you're not going to be anywhere with them.
So this billionaire boy club, is it different between you? Do you have your own club, your own network, your own family gatherings, your billionaire boys? I know maybe you're not billionaires yourself, but you handle billions of pounds or dollars of money around the world. What kind of group of people are you?
No, basically what we deal with are large corporations, companies like General Motors, like Ford, large European companies. And what we have to do is be able to find out what the specific needs of these companies are in the financial markets. They need to raise money. We need to find out what is the best way for them to raise money and go to them with the best idea so they can raise money in the amounts they want in the cheapest possible way. And as Mehdi said, what is important today is not being able to go and play golf with them or have dinner with them. That's part of it. But the most important part is really being able to provide them with the best and most cost-effective ways of raising the funds that they need to raise.
Well, Sirjan, you just gave me the description of your job.
Yes.
But I want to know, how did you get to this powerful position?
Powerful, I'm not sure if I'm powerful, but certainly...
$1 billion pounds is a lot of money.
Well, I think like any other job, you have to start from the bottom. You basically learn as you go. You join an investment bank, you join a company which is dealing with large corporations, and you learn as you work. And over the years, you gain the experience, both in terms of the breadth of type of products and services that you can offer to the client, and the best way to try and.
How did you get to this position? What qualities do you have?
Qualities. I think I'm competitive. I'm tenacious. I'm curious.
And how does an Iranian get to this position?
I think it's no different than anybody else. I think you have to obviously have a certain level of technical training, and then you have to join an institution and work hard and hope that the type of work that you're doing is one which is suited to your own capabilities.
So what about you? What do you say to this? How did you get to your position?
It's primarily through, you have to work hard at it. And simple.
What does that mean? Everybody works hard.
Well, true, but yeah, as Sirius was talking about, you have to have a certain type of a character in terms of wanting to be successful at what you do. Obviously, that's the case for a majority of people. But aside from wanting to be something, you're actually going and doing it. And that's also extremely important. It's not just wanting to be millionaire. Well, that's great, but unless you do something about it, you're not going to be there.
But then, I mean, here we are with you. You are making £1 billion or $1 billion decisions. Do you sleep easy at night?
Yes, why not? I mean, it's not.
What happens if things go wrong?
It's not a matter of me making $1 billion position that in a sense it goes wrong or right. My job is to work with companies which have minimum assets or minimum sales of $1 billion. Majority of the type of companies that I deal with, in fact, several times that I said that's the minimum amount that we tend to deal with. Ford Motor Company is a $22 billion company in Europe. We deal with Ford Motor Company.
When it gets large over an amount, is there a personal relationship or just becomes figures, just zeros in front of numbers? Is that what it becomes about, or is still the basic principles there?
Not at all. It doesn't really make any difference. You have got a lot of people in investment banking who deal with companies 30 million, 40 million pounds and bring in ideas to them. It's not the issue of figure that $1 billion or 30 million. The issue is, in my profession, or anybody who deals, let's say, with a 30 million pound type of a company, both of us in the same type of a position, in a sense that we need to bring in ideas to these people. And we get paid based on success that we have with those clients. If we don't have successes, we are not going to get paid. As simple as that.
Okay, that's fine. But, seriously, to get your position, I mean, when the average person thinks of a banker, the first contact they have is with a tiller at the bank. Is that where you started?
No, I think there are many different types of banking, and I think people get confused. The tillers are basically part of what we call retail banking. It's the type of banking which is designed to service the needs of individuals. That is a very specific type of banking. The type of banking that Mehdi and I are involved with is investment banking. And investment banking deals with large corporations, with large companies, with governments, government agencies. And there, you again start from the bottom, but you do different types of things. You're not behind a tiller trying to service the needs of an individual, but you're learning how to deal with large companies and their specific needs and prepare marketing material for them or whatever, become familiar with the type of products that you need, etc.
So if you wanted to start in banking, if you start as a tiller, would you get your position?
No, because it's like working for a different type of institution. It's completely different type of business. I think one thing that you need to decide when you join the banking business is what type of banking you want to do. If you want to do retail banking, which is dealing with individuals, you join a retail bank or the retail section of a major bank. If you want to do investment banking, you join a different group. There's asset management, which is another type of business altogether. So it's important to know what the different types of banking are, and then you have to join that group. And making a move from one to the other is actually quite difficult because the experience is not very portable.
So is that how you started?
Yes, I actually did my MBA and then joined actually a bank I did my MBA in St. Louis in the U.S., St. Louis University. And then I joined a bank called Mercantile Trust in St. Louis, and then I wanted to go back home to Iran, so I joined Bank of America. And the first place that they sent me was Rotterdam.
Okay. So that's right. By the way, are you enjoying what you are doing?
Oh, very much so.
Why?
Because it's a very competitive market. It's something that when you achieve something, in a sense, when you come up with an idea that the client likes and chooses your idea, you get satisfaction from it.
What about the financial rewards?
Financial reward is part of it, but that's not what I'm doing it for.
Is it the money power?
No, not at all. No.
What about in your case? Is it the money power?
No, I think that it's the excitement of the
Don't
job.
be polite.
No, it's not. I wouldn't be. No, I think it's the excitement of the job. Every day is a new day. The markets change every day, as we've seen over the last year or two. The stock markets go down and up, and interest rates go up and down. Economies change, and the needs of your clients are always changing. And it's a market which is very dynamic, which is always it's evolving. There's a lot of innovation in it, and I think that's what really makes it quite exciting.
Okay, now you represent to me. Sorry,
I totally agree with yours completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm bringing actually it's a very good time. Cyril is more of a European culture banker, and you're more of a U.S. type of banker.
Correct.
Now, if you allow me, tell me about the European culture. In your opinion, what's European culture of banking about?
If you take the caricature of the European banker,
Okay.
I would say it's much more, it's a slower, more relationship-driven type of banking. It was much less technical. It was much less service-driven. I think that
it's more relation, less product and service.
Exactly, and I would say it was never particularly competitive. I think people felt that they owned relationships.
It wasn't.
It was not.
Okay.
And I think that what has really happened in recent years is the American approach, or perhaps more accurately, the Anglo-Saxon approach, which is much more competitive, which is much more rigorous in its approach, much more professional, I would say, in what it does, which has been exported by the Americans very successfully, and now is beginning to dominate the market. So that caricature of Europe is changing very rapidly, and you begin to see less and less of that.
Okay, so we're here seriously saying you, the American culture of banking, which is now the most successful, are ruthless, very loyal, very disloyal, less relationship. Is that correct?
Not
saying that.
Not at all. Not at all. I think what he's saying is the fact that it used to be like this for European, not any longer. It used to be the case that you based your relationship on, because of the fact both of you came from Oxford to Cambridge, you went to university together and so on. And that is really what I think Cyrus was coming back to, in the sense that it used to be like this. The relationship existed, and as a result of that, you got business. And the American style of things were more to do with, I bring in an idea, and based on that, you reward me. And that situation has been the case for the European bank and the U.S. bank, in my opinion, for the past 20 years minimum.
Absolutely.
So we're now under influence of, or not influence, but the U.S. banking model. And that's the way it is. Yeah. So, but what about the Japanese bank? I mean, they were extremely successful in the 1980s. What are they like?
I think that the Japanese banks grew very quickly. They were very large in size in the late 80s, but they expanded much too fast. They overextended themselves both domestically and internationally, and they really spent a great deal of their time trying to win market share, trying to just buy business, without really putting in place, I think, as strong and sophisticated understanding of the type of risk that they're taking as they should have had. And today they're paying the price.
So Far East is dead?
I'd say Japan, the banking sector in Japan has serious problems. The Far East is a very different story.
It's a different story. What is your intake?
Yeah, I totally agree with Cyrus that in terms of the Japanese, if you go back to the early 80s, they actually applied the same model that they had on the manufacturing side to the banking, whereby on the manufacturing side they just purely went after market share, and no matter at what cost. And that scenario did not do them very well in the banking business.
Why not?
Oh, it's purely because of the fact that, first of all, the banking business, in our banking profession, most of the asset that you have got walks out of the elevator every night. You know, and
what do you mean by that?
Oh, the asset are the people that you've got.
Okay.
Okay, and the Japanese, first of all, overpaid for that in the early 80s.
For human resources.
For the human resources, it was quite usual that somebody would leave our bank and go and work with the Japanese for 2 or 3 times the salary. And also, as Cyrus was talking about, they overextended themselves in terms of going after a lot of companies which they did not really understand the credit risk, and all of those have come back to haunt them.
Okay, Cyrus, what message do you have for people who want to join banking or are in banking already, as a very successful banker, international banker, I would like to say, as a billionaire boy banker? What message do you have?
For people trying to join banking, what I believe is important is to understand what banking is all about, because banking, as I mentioned earlier, involves many different types of activities, and these activities require very different skills and involve very different have very different requirements on individuals.
So, but what do they have to become like you?
I think, like myself, and I hope they become much more successful than myself, I think that what is important to succeed is you have to like your job. Firstly, you have to make sure that your own skills are aligned to the requirements of the job, and then obviously you have to have a certain degree of ambition and drive to try and make sure that you are able to realize the fruits of your efforts.
Okay, all right. What do you think? What message do you have, Mehdi John?
Oh, I don't think I have any message. The only thing I would say, I totally agree with Cyrus that a banking profession is a very competitive profession. You really want to be in it. It is a lot of fun, and as I said, I repeat myself here again, and that is, it is a very competitive business.
But why do you think you are where you are today?
Well, I think it's just being tenacious and working hard.
I repeat myself. Everybody works hard.
No, that's already, people say that they work hard, but the reality is maybe not. I think you have to use your skills in the best way that it suits you and suits the organization that you work for.
Okay. On the last question, we live in London, we live in UK. If I can start with you, how do you see the role of UK as a big bank? Entire UK, if we look at it. What role do you see for UK?
If you look at international banking, there are two centers for international banking. One is New York and one is London.
Not Tokyo anymore.
No. I think that it has never been Tokyo. It has never been any other city than London. And London over the years has for the better part of the century, has been the center of banking, international banking. And that position has continued to remain as it is. And in fact, if anything, it's been strengthened. And it's the center of banking outside the United States because one language. I think that international banking, the language of international banking is English, so it's natural for the British to have an advantage in that. And also, as Mehdi said, one of the important assets that we have are individuals and people. And London has become a center for the type of people that have the skill set that's necessary to work in international banking.
So people from US could benefit from the banking facilities in UK. This is for our friends in the United States.
Most large American banks, investment banks, have significant offices in the UK. As European banks also have significant offices in New York.
So we should be there too.
And we are in many cases.
Many cases. Mehdi, as somebody who was brought up in a US culture of banking, and now you live in London, what is your intake of all this?
I totally agree that in terms of the two banking centers of the world are New York and London. No matter what Singapore, Tokyo, or Frankfurt, for that matter, want to think, or for Paris as well. These are the two centers, and if you think about it, within the square mile of the city, you've got 500 banks, and major European banks, be it Deutsche, be it ABN AMRO, be it Société. Most of these people, their main banking offices are actually in London, not in Frankfurt, not in Paris, not in Rotterdam or Amsterdam.
So it's all good news for London.
Well, industry is a very competitive industry in this market, and this is very true. Yes, the center is here. Most of the fund managers are here. Most of the big fund managers, both U.S. and Europeans, are here. So it is the center.
Mehdi, for a boy from Mashhad, well done to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Susan, and thank you for speaking such a good Persian. Thank you very much. امیدوارم که از برنامه امشب خوشتان آمده باشید. شب بخیر. شما را به خدا میسپاریم. با امید دیدار.